Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Big Dinger's Views. Alright, so time for the second review. Alright, so I'm going to be uploading these hopefully all on the same day, but anyway. The second film I'm going to be doing a review on is Aliens. No, not Alien, but Aliens is quack. Which, I know, it's basically Alien with an S. Whatever. So Aliens is the second film in the franchise of the Alien series. And my personal favorite of the Alien franchise. I really like that one compared to the other three. As I mentioned in the first film, Alien is only one. It only has one alien. Well, technically two, but the facehugger dies, and yeah, and it's still part of a different life cycle. Whatever you want to call it. Oh, technically three if you go by that. Whatever. Overall, my favorite movie is Aliens. It has multiple aliens, an entire hive, and you want to hear? And my personal favorite alien xenomorph, the Queen. Oh, the Queen. Probably the most badass character in, I dare say, even compared to the Predators. I know it's saying a hell of a lot, but still, she is really badass. Alright, so the alien Queen is, well, the Queen. The aliens live in what's like a hive. They bring in hosts, which they do in the second film, and I'll explain why later. And bring them to the hive. The Queen lays the eggs, which contain facehuggers. The facehugger latches onto the humans or whatever the prey is. The embryo that's laid by the facehugger bursts out. One becomes another worker. And if the queen dies, and if the worker can find a solitude area, and there's no more other people to do, or any more xenomorphs to work with, then it can become the new queen. Any questions? But yeah, that's the basis of it. So, what is it that I prefer about the second Alien film? I really like that it's more action oriented. The first film is more claustrophobic like. It really went on not showing enough of the villain, enough of the alien in order to know what's going on. But then in Aliens, it shows tons and tons of them. I mean, they are jumping around every corner, and it's just really cool. And also, this was actually the film that I started watching. I did not watch the first one first. I watched the second one first. And here's the reason why. The first Alien Predator, or Alien film, is, like I said, more claustrophobic like. You don't know what's going on. And those movies tend to bore me sometimes. Unfortunately, they sometimes tend to bore me. And so my dad started me on Aliens because I love action films. I'd already seen Predator a few years beforehand. And yeah, I really liked the Predator movies. So eventually, I was like, okay, might as well. And I watched the Alien films, and also, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I used to be scared to death by anything regarding an alien. Anything. It wasn't until I watched Predators that I started to like them. And then Aliens, that sold it for me. I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. What have I been missing out on? So, yeah, that's basically what I like about the film. One moment. Sorry, I had to check something. But yeah, I really enjoy the film. It's more action oriented, and they have more characters in it. And here's the real. Here's the thing. They're like, oh my god, finally! They actually have the Colonial Marines, which have been now a mainstay in the series. I love that they had the Marines in it. I saw the Marines and I'm like, oh my god, better run like crazy. And so that I really like that. I enjoyed seeing them blowing away the Xenomorphs left and right. That was a really fun film. So, but that's just me. And yeah, I love the way that they portray this. I love the way that they portray the aliens in it. Yeah. Anyway, so here's the storyline in it. This is taking place 57 years after the events in the first film. The lone survivor of the Nostromo, the warrant officer, warrant fly officer, or whoever, Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, is the lone survivor of the Nostromo. She escaped in a pod at the end of the film, and yeah. Oh, and by the way, quick fun fact: the original escape pod that she got away in was actually destroyed after the first film. They had no idea that they would have as much luck that they did with these movies. They after the first film they destroyed it. So in the beginning of the first film, they actually had to remake it. They had to remake it from scratch and from the film, the first film, in order to get it as accurate as possible. So anyway, she's been in cryo sleep for 57 years. And she's eventually found by this salvage crew. And anyway, they bring her back. She wakes up in this weird hospital place above Earth. And the company called, the company, Weyland-Yutani. They're actually looking, the Weyland-Yutani, they basically interrogate her, something like that. Or not really interrogate, but, they have a press conference in there. They don't believe her story at all, and yeah. So, anyway, she tells them a story about what happened in the first film, and they don't believe her. And they revoke her flight status, and she tries to adapt to regular life aboard the ship. And not very much luck. She gets a knock at the door one day from this guy that works for the company that actually she talked to after she woke up. What is his name? Burke. It was something Burke. God. Anyway, the guy from Beverly Hills Cop that was that really idiotic friend of Eddie Murphy's. That guy is in this movie, and thank God he dies. He's a real dick. So, anyway, they go and knock at the door and tell her that this colony that had already been on LV-426, the planet where the first movie, where they found the facehugger and brought it on board and everything. They find out that they lost. She finds out that they lost contact, and they want her on as a survivor with a squad of Colonial Marines. Yes, aliens, Colonial Marines. That's where they got it all from. And basically, as an advisor to tell them about these creatures and to help them get past them and everything else like that. And she's very reluctant at first. She's having really bad nightmares and all this other stuff. And then finally, one night after she has a nightmare, she says, okay, I'll go with you. only to eliminate them, and she's pissed off. I mean, she definitely, between the first and second film, she definitely changed. Her Ellen Ripley's character changed dramatically. Now she doesn't really take much BS from the people there. It's her way or the highway, and she makes it very clear. She takes charge of the entire situation. So I like that they changed that. Anyway, so she goes with them. They go to LV-46, and I like that they did incorporate some of the stuff in the first film. They actually do talk about the other characters, get to know the characters, not for nearly as long, thank goodness, but still for an amount of time. And anyway, she meets up with them and everything. They get to the planet, and this colony of terraformers, so the air is breathable now, well, at least somewhat. For the humans, they go on, and they find that there's no trace of any survivors or anything at first, and then they find these tubes, or these containers with facehuggers in them, live ones. 2 out of the 6 facehuggers in the science lab are alive. The other ones are all dead. And so they find out more about them and that, and they find the main character, or the second main character, Newt. Now, Newt, later in the film, she becomes very important. She is about the only reason why we get to see the alien queen. Hint, spoiler alert. So, later in the film, she gets taken. There's only 2 more people left. Ellen and another... Actually, 4. 4 at the time that Newt's taken. There is Corporal Hicks, who I love. I love his character. Like I said, spoiler alert also. Ripley, the android Bishop, and Newt. Those are the only 4 survivors left. Anyway, she accidentally gets separated from the group in their escape attempt from this horde of aliens. And I love the visuals. Really quick, I love the visuals that they have in it. I really like the way that they did the aliens. Anyway, she gets separated, and she later gets taken when she's separated from them. But she had a tracking beacon that Hicks conveniently supplied Ellen with, and for no apparent reason he knew that Newt had it. She didn't tell him. Really quick though, I'm going to go on a quick rant. Never mind, I'll tell you afterwards. I kind of wanted to continue with the spoiler thing. So she gets taken, and they have to help propel the story along. So she gets taken to the hive. And spoiler alert, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, this entire review is a spoiler. Spoilers! Yes, Doctor Who reference. So, anyway, so she gets taken to the hive, and Ellen is determined because she learned that her daughter had died. After she woke up, she learned that her daughter had died, who they only mentioned once in the entire first film. Last time I watched it, I didn't see when they mentioned her, but I remember watching beforehand that they did. Anyway, her daughter had died, and she had left when her daughter was 12 years old, or something like that. It was going to be back for her daughter's birthday, but along came the xenomorph. Anyway, so they really have a good attachment in this film, and I really enjoy that. So they continue, all this other stuff is going on, and that's just. Oh, dare you! So basically, she gets taken. Ellen is so determined to get her back that she follows her with a tracking device that she had given Newt, and finds it, sees that, crap, Newt's not here, and hears her screams and goes for the rescue. So she goes there, and keep in mind she's in the hive, and she has this really badass weapon. She took a flamethrower and and pulse rifle along with the grenade launcher attached to it, if you know the alien stuff, and tied them together with duct tape because that fixes everything. And put the tracking locator on top, and she finds them. And later they're trying to find a way back to the flares that she had laid earlier when she was venturing into the hive, and then they find the xenomorph queen. And oh my god, I really wish I could show you guys this right now. I can't though because I don't want to get sued or anything. So, but the reveal of the xenomorph queen is like, oh my god, it's just perfect. I love it. I really do love it, and yeah, I like the way that they portrayed the xenomorph queen because when I first saw that, I was like, oh my god, Predator is named this badass. And that's saying a lot. And so anyway, they find it and they have to fight the alien queen, and the epic climax is just amazing. I love the climactic conclusion that they have to this film. It's every single time I watch it, I'm like, oh god, what's gonna happen next? No matter how many times I see it, it's that good. And yeah, it's so good that every single time I see it, I want to see more. My heart still pounds when I watch it from the first time. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen to these characters? And it still happens every single time I see this movie. So I really, really like that they have that effect. I really enjoy it. And I think that anyone that is going to be introduced to any movie in the Alien franchise, Alien or Predator, I think that they should start with Predator if they want to watch those ones. But at least that's what I started with. Yeah, either one works. But if they want to start with any movie in the Alien franchise, start with Aliens, not the first one. Aliens, the one with the Queen. Watch that one first. You will love it, and you'll fall in love with the franchise. So that's just my own opinion. So out of 5 stars for this film, I'm gonna have to. Here's a little plot hole though. There are 2 little plot holes, but they're barely anything. One, earlier in the film, when they were going to descend around this colony, the pilot is talking to the co-pilot, and she says, "Where's the damn beacon?" Never have I seen the beacon. Or she's like, "Where's the damn beacon?" And then, oh, there it is. And there is no beacon on the screen. My dad has seen these obviously more times than I have, and he has never even seen it before. So, what? How? What? I don't know how it works. So I know it's just a minor detail. And the second thing that I think is a kind of a plot hole is early in the movie, it looks like Hicks has some feelings for Ripley, and it's barely anything. They don't like fall in love or anything like that. It's not like a Disney film. Good God, I'd end this review right now if I realized that was. But anyway, he gives her a tracking beacon, so in case like something happened, then he'll be able to find her and everything. So, so she has to locate her on her wrist, and she just goes over back and sees Newt and talks to her for a while. She's about to put her to bed because she was the only survivor in the entire colony, and she puts her to a bed in the medical lab and puts the locator onto her wrist. Okay, so no big deal. She has feelings for this girl as if she was her own daughter, and she really does care for her. But later, when she gets taken, like I said earlier, spoiler alert, when Newt gets taken by one of the xenomorph drones, Hicks just all of a sudden holds up the same locator that he was going to be using to find Ripley in case she got separated. He said, "Here, we can find her with this." Never before did Ellen ever mention to Hicks that, hey, she has to look her now. Okay. Never. They never did that in the entire film. So, what, do they do it sometime off screen, or it's like a small plot hole, but still, it's like when you realize it, you're like, oh my god, I'm such a nerd and still pro. And so yeah, it's weird. Oh well, you see plot holes in movies all the time. Good God, don't get me started on the American Godzilla. I really hope to do a better job. But yeah, so just a little plot hole there, but still, it's all good. It does not take away anything from the movies, and regardless, I still really love this movie. So, out of 5 stars for the first film, because I forgot to say this earlier, I'm going to have to give it 3 out of 5 stars. While I do enjoy it, it's still not the best film. And this is for Alien, the first one. Now, for the second one, the one that this review is about, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars, because still it's not the absolute best movie that I've ever seen in the entire world, but it has its good times, and I really do enjoy it. And it has fantastic visuals. Sorry about that, my mom's getting home. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed the video, and have a good one. Oh, and go Hawks!